Yo, haha, Miltnificent. Did complex sneakers get their top 10 correct this year? Because I feel like towards the end, they really got it good. And just because this year, I felt like they elected to look at the shoes not just off hype, but by originality, if that makes sense. So let's talk about it. What is good, YouTube? Your boy Miltnificent coming back with another quick video. Today, I want to talk about complex top 10 sneaker of the years. Like, I felt like that this list was fair and they weren't going based off the typical retro shoes and different colorways and collaborations, things of that nature. So let's just kind of get started. They said number 10 was the J-Tip Saucony Omni 9. Now, I haven't really worn Saucony ever, but I understand that the Omni 9 is definitely a comfortable silhouette to a certain point. But the colorway that they did was phenomenal. I felt like Saucony sometimes in the past that they've been reserved with the color schemes. And because of that, you have this collaboration where that colorway is definitely going to pop. And I felt like this is the year, or this is the time of the year where a lot of people are going to do their top 10, whether they got shoes or not and stuff like that. So I can understand why Complex Sneakers is doing it right now. So coming at number 10, I can definitely see the Omni 9. But if you're doing it your top 10 right now, I can definitely see where you're coming from, because there's not too many shoes that's coming out by the end of the year outside of the Jordan 11, in terms of hype. So this would be a good time to do this. So number 10, the J-Tips, if I'm not mistaken, Saucony Omni 9. Number 9 is interesting because I felt like some people were attacking Nike, stating that they were looking for quality, comfort, and not just retro shoes that are reimagined, reversed, and all types of stuff. And I can completely understand. But Nike definitely answered with the Nigel Sylvester Jordan 4 RM. I felt like the first colorway was nice. The ads were nice. The presentation was nice. The execution was good. And I felt like the sneaker community responded with the first colorway. There was definitely some interest for that. And a lot of people, from what I heard, said that it's more comfortable. It does look like to a Jordan 4 to a certain point. But they definitely they tweaked the specs in it to make it more appealing for skateboarders. So I can kind of see where complex sneakers would have that fitted in. But you know what? Nigel Sylvester Jordan 4M, I think that's a fair assessment. And coming in number 8, man, this was a dunk that I wanted, but I couldn't get this year. It was a Futura Nike SB Dunk Low. Listen, this was definitely a good shoe. I think the colorway, the combination was dope. And then what that shoe meant for. I wasn't able to get this shoe, but I was able to get the Visti Verde SB Dunk. So, beggars can't be choosers. I'm thankful either way. I felt like this is a good conversation starter for people when I kind of wear these in the street. So I can see the Nike SB Dunk Futura being at number 8. Coming in at number 7, if I'm not mistaken, they had quite a few ones, but this one was interesting. And it was the Nike SB Dunk, the WuTang. Now, I did a video about this in detail and what this shoe actually meant to the sneaker community. And for Complex Sneakers to have this shoe on their top 10 sneakers of the year should tell you a lot about this shoe. I felt like some people may not know in the history what it meant. And, everybody talks about like the mags and all that stuff a lot. But when it comes to the whole WuTang Dunk, man, especially because this year I felt like this year's version is closer to what WuTang was looking for and Nike was looking for in terms of collaboration. And then there's rumors that there might be a reverse so, coming next year, but we'll see. So coming in at number 7, I could definitely see that. I think coming in at number 6, if I'm not mistaken, was the Action Bronson New Balance 1906, the Rosewater. New Balance is another one. I felt like I haven't worn New Balance since high school. So that's a long time ago. But they had reserved colorways that, if you look at what they're doing now, they're more vibrant with their collaborations and stuff like that. So this one was definitely a top of everybody's list. I do remember the hype being there for this Action Bronson. It was hard to get. And you know what? It's definitely a dope colorway as long as you got the clothes to support it. But I would definitely rock this. So I can see why that shoe came at number 6. And then that number 5 was interesting. If you were a Marvel fan, right? So Asics, the Kith Asics pack where you had like the difference, like the Spider-Man, if I'm not mistaken, they had different colorways that I'm not sure if everybody went for the pack or you just went for your favorite Marvel character, but there was definitely a numerous amount of shoes within that pack. You can see it right here. And man, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. The whole Marvel thing. So I like, this is why I say I like what Complex Sneakers did with their selections. And coming in at number 4, the Kobe 4 Pro Troll Girl Dad. And that shoe was clean. That shoe was clean. I think Vanessa Bryant and Nike continuing to release Kobe's that were beyond the ones that we've seen in the past, in years past. I mean, I have the Kobe 5 X-rays up there, which I'm probably going to give to my son anyway. But, you know, like that shoe, like stuff like that, that's being creative. So I like what Vanessa Bryant and Nike are doing to keep Kobe's memory alive. And I like what Complex Sneakers is doing in terms of putting Kobe for the Pro Troll Girl Dad, because it meant a lot to at least the community for Kobe Bryant. So I can definitely see that at number 4. Number 3, it's funny because Travis Scott has his own shoe. Well, to a certain point. He had collaboration with Jordan Brand until they kind of made an official shoe for him. So that, you know, when they came out with the Jordan Jumpman Jack, I think the first colorway was the Mocha series, if I'm not mistaken. But this colorway is definitely nice. It was nothing a shoe that was kind of backdoor, hard to get. It's the Travis Scott hype. And I think the Dark Mocha, if I'm not mistaken, is the one that people expect to shock drop eventually. So we'll see what happens. But I'm looking at both of them. Dark Mocha looks better, I'm just saying. But I can understand that at number 3. Now, this is where I'm shocked because I never have the top 2 picks of Complex Sneakers in my lineup before. And coming in at number 2, the Jordan 4 Bread Reimagined. This shoe, in my opinion, is so good in terms of comfort and style because of how they did the leather, how they did the tech specs. And I have the original Bread from, not the original, but I have the Bread from 2018. It wasn't reimagined, but this one, man, you cannot go wrong with this shoe. And I felt like a lot of people kind of forgot about the shoe and its release. But this is definitely a clean colorway. You can't go wrong. This is something that it should be atop of a lot of people's list, at least top 10 of this year if you're in the shoe game. And number 1, this is where I finally can agree with Complex Sneakers instead of just looking at the hype and everything else in terms of originality. First year signature shoe. It has to go to Anthony Edwards. At least the AE1s, the mid and the lows. Now, they said AE1s, but I think what they meant was just collectively, whether you like the low or the mids. Because in my opinion, Adidas they just hit this out the park with Anthony Edwards' shoe. I think when people started catching on to the comfort, whether you like the mid or you like the low, the different colorways, the tech specs for a first signature shoe, most basketball players don't get all this tech spec in the first year shoe. And I felt like the AE1s, man, they are still releasing colorways now. And you can see behind me, or at least up there, you can see that that's on this side, and I have more AE1s on the other side. But this entire year, I've been collecting AE1s. Have been, you know, once I put the first one on, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was the Velocity Blues, if you can see up here. Once I put that on, I didn't take it off. So I agree with Complex Sneakers for the first time in years that you guys in that panel got it right. Especially, there's no doubt in my mind, like this is the all-star that you see in the picture, but I don't think it's just like this shoe in particular. I felt like the colorways of the AE1s as a whole, collectively, lows, mids, definitely number 1 in my eye. Comment below, man. Let me know. What do you think out of Complex Sneakers? Did they get the list right, or did you have it or seen it another way? I like to hear what people are saying about this, but in terms of a first year, we haven't seen it. Nothing retro, reverse, all that stuff. Something we just never seen in the sneaker community. The AE1 is definitely a shoe that you may want to try out if you haven't already. It's one of those shoes that once you break it in, it feels so good to your foot. Your boy Miltnificent, man. Today is Monday. AE1 shoe of the year. Or at least the Complex Sneakers. You guys, stay blessed.